When I started filming this video, I knew it was crunch time. Almost without fail, the snow comes and stays in Alaska on October 10th, and it was already well past then when I started filming, so I knew any second we would get snowed in, and it would stay that way until April. So I had some things to do. Last winter was an utter disaster. Almost everything was in some kind of disarray when the snow came, and a lot of things ended up staying outside and getting buried. Most things ended up fine, but just knowing I had this giant mess waiting for me in the spring was a nightmare. So this year I needed to make sure that everything was cleaned up, finished, and put in its place. So I started with the driveway. It's been cluttered with junk nearly since the snow thawed, so I got everything together and staged it for when the shed was finished. With that done, I cleaned up a bit and did a bit of long overdue finishing touches on the outhouse. And all of that wasn't a second too soon, because a few hours after I got that stuff cleaned up and put away, we got our first real snow. It mostly melted out again that day, but it was a good sign that my time for working outside was running very, very short, which meant I had to attend to the very last bit of construction until spring and finish the shed. I don't have a good excuse as to why it isn't done already, but I guess now is as good a time as any. I don't think I can properly express how good it feels to have this thing done, or at least as done as it needs to be until spring. Since I moved out of my parents' house, I've never been properly organized in any way. Everything is always laying out somewhere in a pile or shoved under the cabin, but that all ends today. Finally, after almost a year and a half, I could put everything away, clean out the space under my cabin, and stow the clutter I've been living with for far too long. No mess under the snow, nothing left out. It's genuinely euphoric. And I mean, sure, it's a bit messy in the shed itself, but I'll definitely change that. It's basically a shell right now because that's all it needs to be. But in the spring, I'll put in a window, shelves, some kind of workbench, and especially a door. But a tarp should work until I can force myself to spend another dime on lumber, because I think I've just about had my fill of carpentry. The next morning I got up early. I think I'm as ready for winter as I really could be, beyond plugging up the last little holes in the cabin. Everything is in its place, and I just feel refreshed. It's been a long year, but I'm excited for the coming months. I've got a lot planned, and I feel more than ready to take on new projects and make the most of the long haul before spring. I am really sorry about the ridiculously short length of this video. I just didn't want to drag anything out and keep this from being anything more than a brief update. This isn't me winding down production for the year. I won't be taking another hiatus or anything like that. I just didn't have very much to show, beyond the finishing of the shed and a gift that deserves a thank you. A few weeks ago, I got an email from a lovely young lady in the UK who had made me a painting of the view from my cabin, asking if she could send it to me, and I was just thrilled to have it. So I wanted to do a huge shout out and thank you to Miss Baya for this amazing piece. I absolutely love it, and I'm just thrilled to have it on my wall. Thank you so much. I know how much effort goes into something like this, and I am just so appreciative. And speaking of art, I have 2 new pieces up for sale this week. As always, it's blind auction, so if you want to get your hands on one of these, send me a bid at bettingonalaska@gmail.com. It's in the video description. And let me know how much you're willing to pay, and I will let you know if you win. That's going to be about all for today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and toil for your food. Have a good day.